Coming back to our culture and how these arguments can be presented and received, how are you getting on in terms of the scientific community, in terms of the proportion of people who would acknowledge this?
Well, it's a little hard to assess exact percentages of the scientific community, but I would say that there's very rapid growth in the intelligent design research community, the community of scientists who are attracted to the idea of intelligent design, who are using it in their research, who are persuaded by one or more of the arguments for intelligent design. We've been at this wonderful conference at the European Leadership Forum, and are meeting scientists from across Europe with outstanding credentials, some members of national academies in their own countries, and we're finding tremendous sympathy for the work that we're doing. There have been a couple of scientists who have put themselves forward to serve as members of the editorial board of one of the prominent research journals that the intelligent design community is producing, the journal Biocomplexity. And so the breadth and depth and level of interest in the scientific research program surrounding these questions is really growing at a very rapid rate, and I think that's a very encouraging sign for the work we're doing in the future. Yeah.
Great. And you've just in this short time, you've explained that there's a logical sequence that holds water, as it were. Taking a step forward in terms of how you can affect the worldviews, the philosophical sort of culture of our time. And this is our last question, I think.
Very good.
Yeah.
Well, intelligent design is, as I've said, based on scientific evidence. But very few of us are shy about also admitting that the theory has larger worldview and metaphysical implications. And the way the media likes to portray this, oftentimes in the States, at least the hostile media, is to say, well, if you think I'm often in interviews, and hostile interviews, asked the question aggressive, who do you think the designer is? I personally think the designer is God. And I was on I did a 2-hour interview with the American program Nightline, and they told me that they were interested in the science that we were doing, but the only thing that I said that got into the actual broadcast was, we think it's God. Well, that illustrates something, which is that there's a difference between the evidence for intelligent design, the basis for intelligent design, and its possible implications. I think it has theistic implications, or implications that are friendly to a theistic worldview. It certainly challenges the materialistic worldview, which denies that there is any mind prior to the origin of life or prior to the universe, and instead says that purely material undirected processes produced everything important in the history of the universe and life. We think that you need a mind to explain the origin of life. That then raises the question, who is that designing mind most likely to be? I think through a personal process of philosophical deliberation, I think the mind most likely to be responsible for that is the mind of God. I'm not very favorably disposed to the alien hypothesis that some people have suggested is at least a logical possibility, in part because I already have a lot of reasons for being a committed Christian, but also because from a scientific standpoint, we not only see evidence of design at the point of the origin of the first life, but we also see it in the fine-tuning of the laws and constants of physics from the very beginning of the universe, and clearly no entity within the universe could be responsible for the design parameters of the universe as a whole. So I think there's a lot of good reasons to believe in design, theistic design, not just design simpliciter.
Stephen, thank you very much.
Thank you for the
interview. Great pleasure.
Yeah.
And also thank you to you, our audience, and to remind you that you can see some of the answers to these questions on the focalonline.org website, foclonline.org. Goodbye.